Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Saturday. I am your, I am your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson. And let's go on and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. First off, like we always do, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go in and do so. And also hit the share button. Share with all the people that you know. This is a vital time that we need people to be coming onto the stream, listening, hearing what the information is on all of this weather that is ongoing. And it would help out the channel a lot, and it's free. It's free. You don't have to pay any money for it, not like any subscription or anything like that. You just need to have an account. So what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about tonight? Obviously, we will talk about the current conditions, what's going on right now throughout the state of South Carolina. We'll also talk about our conditions for tonight as well. See what's going on tonight. We also will talk about, obviously, the tropics. That's like the main thing that most people probably are here for. And also, we will continue to talk about our flood risk and just what are the risks overall, just whatever track the storm takes, what's going to be the main threats in terms of each situation. And so we're going to talk about that. But starting off first, current conditions, what is currently going on throughout the state of South Carolina. We do, in fact, have some rainfall that's going on over here just to the east of Moncks Corner and maybe even some showers around the Moncks Corner area in Berkeley County. Also, just to the west of Georgetown, we have some rainfall up there. Also near Carolina Forest, some rainfall going on up there. And if you move over here towards Bishopville, Hartsville, all the way up just to the east of Chesterfield, near Cheraw and Wallace, shower and thunderstorm activity is going on throughout these areas. Now, what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? We do have some rainfall going on, obviously, over in North Carolina, Virginia, going into Maryland. Delaware is included, as well as Pennsylvania and New Jersey. New York also getting into some of that cloud cover and rainfall, as well as over there inside of the Four Corners region, rainfall going on over there. And also inside of Nevada and California, we have some flooding going on over there, it seems. Also in Florida, they do have some shower and storm activity over there. Cloud cover activity, we do have some cloud cover activity going on inside of the eastern part of the state, goes from the PD to the Grand Strand area. Also, we do have some cloud cover moving up into the upstate of South Carolina. What about for our future? As we go in and push this forward, you can see that cloud cover moving to the east, but as you continue to move your way out to like tomorrow afternoon, going into like tomorrow evening, that cloud cover moves its way into South Carolina, and this is probably from Imelda, most likely, or future Imelda. It hasn't formed quite yet. We'll talk about that. But right now, it's continuing to move its way to the west, and it will eventually take over parts of the state. But for the most part, it looks like as it continues to move its way west, it will just go on at this point and try to make it as far inland as it possibly can. And so we'll continue to monitor that cloud cover, because that cloud cover can also influence temperatures. Obviously, you have current temperatures right now, 73 in Columbia, as well as 72 in Orangeburg, 73 in Sumter, and 74 in Summerville, 76 in Georgetown, and 76 in Murrells Inlet, 77 in Myrtle Beach, and 75 in Conway, 76 in North Myrtle Beach, and even around 78 over there in Charleston. We also do have around 72 in Aiken, 70 in Greenwood, and 71 in Clemson, 71 in Anderson, even 69 in Greenville, 70 in Spartanburg, and 69 inside of Gaffney, and even 70 in York and Rock Hill. Low temperatures for tonight, you have around 64 in Greenville, 64 also inside of Spartanburg, 65 in Rock Hill, and 66 in Columbia, 67 in Orangeburg, and even 68 in Sumter and Florence, 68 also in Moncks Corner, and 71 in Charleston, 68 in Georgetown, even 71 in Myrtle Beach, 72 inside of Hilton Head Island. For your rainfall for tonight, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch is possible for a lot of areas, and that includes Winsboro, that includes Barnwell, Greenville as well, maybe even a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible for Sumter, also for Florence, for Dillon is included, Kingstree is included, quarter of an inch to a half an inch, Moncks Corner, Walterboro, Charleston is included, and then maybe even a half an inch to an inch for Myrtle Beach going into Georgetown and Hilton Head Island. Now, what about our crazy score? for tonight, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, the score that we see how crazy the weather is inside of South Carolina, and it's at a 24. Relatively nice in terms of where I would place it at. I would probably put in Sun the Mountain category as well. That's just because isolated scattered showers are still going on. And then also we do have localized flood risk that continues through tonight. But widespread flooding is unlikely due to limited coverage overnight. Patchy fog is possible, especially in areas that has already had some rain earlier. And the atmosphere obviously is unsettled. It's not a settled atmosphere at all. Upper trough and the approaching cold front from the west sustain moist southwesterly flow, and that could also enhance the fog formation as well. So we're at a 24. No, I'm not going live tonight. SPC Outlook, they just released the new one, as they always do. The new one, right now, actually, no, they have not. Let me go in and check. Nope. Still have not released it yet. So this is the last one that we had. Thunderstorms go on throughout the entire state still. Here is the risk for it. This is for, again, the entire state for tonight. Tomorrow, thunderstorms are possible as well from pretty much the low country, the southern Midlands, the PD, the Grand Strand. All these areas have a chance for a thunderstorm tomorrow. And then on Monday, we also have another thunderstorm risk that goes in for the low country, also for the Grand Strand area as well. Now, as we go into excessive rainfall, this is a whole different story right here. Isolated flash flooding is possible inside of pretty much all of the entire state. Now, this is for tonight. And as you go into tomorrow, this actually goes for the coastal regions going into the low country, still going into the Grand Strand area as well for tomorrow. So isolated flash flooding is possible here. And then on day 3, which this is Monday, scattered flash flooding possible over here for the low country, for the southern Midlands, for the PD, Grand Strand area, and even the eastern Midlands as well. And everyone else from the western Midlands going into even the eastern and parts of the southern upstate, isolated flash flooding is possible here as well. Now, what about day 4? This right here is Tuesday. Tuesday, scattered flash flooding again goes on through the low country, through the Midlands, and pretty much throughout this eastern half of the state. And then the western part of the state, Greenville, Greenwood, Edgefield, Augusta, down towards Union, Gaffney, Spartanburg, all these areas, isolated flash flooding is possible here. And even down there, even this area over here near Bluffton, Hilton Head Island, these places also isolated. Now for day 5, that ends it. That actually does end it. So day 4, this is Tuesday. Day 5, no risk is expected at all for Wednesday. For now, that can change, but for now, that's what it looks like. So let's go on right now and look at the model. So we're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. And actually, as you push this forward, you see that the shower and downpour activity kind of just fizzles out. You're not really seeing too much. Yes, you will still see some more like isolated shower downpour activity as you go into like tomorrow afternoon potentially. But as you go even further into the future, into like tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, look at all that shower and thunderstorm activity that moves its way into the coastal regions, moving its way inland into the low country, moving into the Grand Strand and even into the PD area. And that pushes in all the way to 10, 11 p.m., even to 12 o'clock in the morning on Monday. And then we're here on Monday morning. You can see there goes future Imelda right there, and it's bringing shower and thunderstorm activity to the coastal areas and bringing it as well into some inland areas as well. And look at 9 a.m. on Monday. 9 a.m. Monday, seeing some heavy rain, and that will continue all the way through the afternoon. And now we're starting to get into these short-term models of what it could potentially look like just on a 48-hour scale and a high-depth look. And now it's looking like that we will have this huge rain shield moving. Now, it's not going to be like the heaviest rainfall from the storm, but it will be a heavy rain shield, and that's what's going to prompt that slight risk of excessive rainfall, or that marginal risk of excessive rainfall. And some areas probably will be receiving rain pretty much throughout all morning and all afternoon as you go into Monday. So that's just what it's looking like. So definitely, if you need to get some outside work done, I definitely would do it tomorrow. because Monday does not look like the best, especially if you are inside of the low country and the Grand Strand and PD area, maybe even the Midlands as well. Unless you do it early in the morning in the Midlands. But the upstate also has some more rainfall moving through like early that morning as well. So I definitely would just do it tomorrow. That's just me, though. That's just me. Now, what about our long-term future? So even past Imelda and just what it shows. First off, I do kind of want to look at the landfall and see what it shows here. The GFS for the 18Z actually has Imelda moving out to the east, and that's what most models have been showing for a shift for today. It's actually showing it a shift to the east now. Now, again, that shift, that was one model run, and now they slowly are kind of shifting their way back west a little bit. I'll show you that. But this is right here, October the 2nd. You can see Imelda's moved its way out to the east. And for the most part, we stay dry all the way through to October the 5th, all the way to the 7th. And then look at this rainfall that moves in through the 8th as well. This is actually, I believe, is a cold front. As you go into the 9th. And then as you move into the 300-hour mark, I mean, just look at how dry it's going to be. As you go all the way maybe until like October, like the 12th, we might see that start to change. But just as we continue this forward, you're not really seeing too much rainfall at all. And even if you go into how much rainfall is expected during this time frame, just from this one model run, it shows for the most part a good amount inside of this eastern area. And that's around like a good 2 to 4 inches of rain, but not the most that we have been seeing. And it definitely is definitely in disagreement from what the WPC is saying. Especially as you move through the next 7 days. For the most part, we showed it this morning, or I showed it this morning, but it definitely has went down a lot. The totals from this morning has definitely went down a lot. It was around 10 inches of rain. Now you can see here it's actually only at around a good 5 inches for these coastal areas. Now 6 to 7 inches for some of these other areas as well. And then as you move into like the Midlands, that goes to around 2 to around 3 inches. And then as you move into the upstate, 3/10 to maybe even a half an inch for some areas, and then maybe even an inch over there near Aiken as well. So definitely, the amount of rainfall that we saw this morning has pretty much gone down, and so that's just one model run. Things will change for sure. But I do want to go on real quick before we continue into the tropics real quick. There's a cold front that's about to pass by, and I kind of do want to show you what that cold air would look like before we get deep into the tropics. So as you can see, I mean, you go push this forward, you get some cool air for the most part, but if I go on and actually check out the actual dew points themselves, you can see for the most part, look at all this cold air that comes through after Imelda leaves and gets out of here. We get some nice dry and cool air as you go into around like October the 2nd and the 3rd. And that will continue, and then we have another cold front again around like October the 8th, October the 9th, and that's going to be a real cold front right there. An actual fall cold front there. I mean, you're going to have temperatures potentially down into like the 40s for some areas as you go into like later into this October. So definitely these temperatures will be getting back down as we get into October, but we just gotta withstand the heat probably until, I mean, it's gonna be a little bit wild. It's gonna be a little bit of a while, but I'd say it just continues all the way through to around like October the 7th, the 8th, and then once the 9th comes in and drops those temperatures down, and it stays cool for a good little bit until it tries to warm up again, though. But a cool down is indeed on the way, though. But now that that is indeed done with, let's go on and talk about the tropics now. So first off, we have Humberto over here. It's a 160 mile per hour storm and 160 mile per hour storm, and that will continue its way through. Yes, this is a Category 5 storm. This is indeed a Category 5 storm. This is the second or third Category 5 that we have received this season. And so, as you just continue it on, it's going to stay a major hurricane all the way through Tuesday. And then it's going to go back down to a hurricane by Wednesday and Thursday. And you can see this has really no threat to South Carolina at all. Humberto is definitely definitely not going to impact us at all. Not going to impact us at all. And so, even though this will not impact us directly, it could impact us definitely indirectly. And I'll talk about that right now. Because if you go on and check out Tropical Depression 9, soon to be Imelda, it says the depression is expected to strengthen and bring tropical storm conditions to portions of the central and the northwestern Bahamas through Sunday night. Tropical storm conditions are also possible along portions of the east coast of central Florida beginning on Monday, where tropical storm watch is indeed inside of effect. So Florida is going to start receiving some of this tropical storm force conditions as well. It also says rainfall will continue to impact eastern Cuba, Hispaniola, Jamaica, and the Bahamas through the weekend, which will produce flash and urban flooding. Mudslides are possible in the higher terrain. There is a significant threat of heavy rainfall early next week from portions of the east coast of Florida north into the Carolinas, which could cause flash, urban, and river flooding. So definitely, if we don't get any wind with this, or if it really doesn't directly impact us like that, I will say that the rainfall definitely will be a factor. And then the final point, the depression is expected to be at or near hurricane intensity when it is the closest to the southeast U.S. coast early next week, where there is a risk of storm surge and wind impacts. Although it is too soon to specify the exact location and the magnitude of the impact, residents should closely monitor the latest forecast updates and ensure they have their hurricane plan in place. And it's absolutely correct. Make sure that you have all of your plans in place. Now, you may look at this cone, and before you start saying, oh, so we have nothing to worry about, it's curving over there to the east. I will say that definitely, I think that they're going a bit east, a bit soon. Now, they're the professionals. They are the professionals. I understand that. But it's not only me that's saying that. There's a lot of other people that believe that they might be going a bit too far east, because the cone's not even near the Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina line anymore. It's not. And for that reason, that some people might think, well, then that means that they're not really expecting it to make landfall over there anymore. I mean, in terms of technicalities, technically yes, but I think that they might have it a bit east, a bit too soon, and I'll show you why right now. Actually, if you go in and look at the actual, first off, what does it look like? I'll show you what it looks like first. Starting off right here, you can see this is what it looks like. It's moving its way through, moving its way north, strengthening, doing its normal thing right now. And if you go on and check and see the actual hurricane models themselves, yes, you can see the majority of them actually do curve to the east. The majority of them definitely do curve to the east. And so this is the 0Z, so this was updated actually around like 19 minutes ago or so. So this is a good sign. This is a very good sign that it's going to make its way out towards the east. You have, one over here. It's an outlier, but it's still possible. Even as you go to the GFS has most of them going out to the east. And then you have a couple over here that move its way to the west as well. And if you move your way even to GEPS does the same thing and move out to the east, but has a couple of members that's over here that makes landfall over near South Carolina. And if you go on and look at the intensity for the models, because it goes out to sea so quickly, some of them have it getting up to category 2, 3, 4, and maybe even a category 5. If this somehow turned to a category 5 out there to sea, that would be, I believe I saw a stat earlier that said this was the most consecutive. I forgot exactly what the stat was. I have to go look it up again. But it was like the first time we had in almost 100 years at this point. So I'll go on and I'll check that out real quick and check it out and tell you it at the end. But for the most part, it says that we will at least have a hurricane. I think these ones that kind of stay down here inside the actual tropical storm range, I don't think that they really are too correct. But I guess things can happen. Things can still happen. But again, here's that look at the cone if you want to see it again. I think that is a bit east, a bit too early, and there is a chance that they might be right, and it actually might just go off to the east. I mean, that's definitely possible. But there's too many scenarios with this right now, and you have a couple of scenarios. I put them inside the chat actually, inside of a poll. I said my question was, um, my question was, what is your personal opinion on future Imelda? And so far, three of the options have been chosen, but one of them did not. The first one, which 20% says it will hit us, that's a possible solution. It would hit us, bring us some rainfall impacts, bring us some wind impacts. Not really too much of a tornado threat, but it's just really just wind, rain, storm surge, stuff like that. Then you have the second option, which it will not hit us, but it will be close. And so that would again probably bring some more rainfall impact with that, which that kind of seems to be the most likely option right now. It won't hit us, but it will be close. That's possible. And then as you go into the third option, I said it will not hit us, but there will be some high surf, some rip currents, stuff like that. No rain, no like flash flooding or wind events or anything like that, which that one seems to be looking less likely. And the one that has 0% definitely is the least likely. It definitely will not completely miss us. It will give us some impacts, and same thing with this one. It will not hit us, but some surf. Definitely will be some rainfall with this. So the one that I'm going with right now with it is it will not hit us, but it will be close. But definitely the one where I said it will hit us is definitely still a possibility. It is definitely still a possibility. And there's one more thing that I do want to show real quick. If we go on to the actual models one more time again, move on over here to the forecast models. We're going to move on down towards the Western Atlantic, and then we're going to go on and look at each one of these models and see what they say. So starting off here, this is the Euro one right here. The Euro actually has this thing developing and actually making it very close. Hurricane strength, making it very close, bringing us some rainfall for sure. And then as Humberto leaves, makes landfall in North Carolina. But one thing that I will say for sure, and this is something that I do want to talk about a lot, is look how long it keeps rainfall over us. This storm, according to this one model run right here, it brings rain all the way from September 29th all the way to October the 1st. That's like 2 days straight of just straight rain, pretty much. 2 days straight of just straight rain. And so that would definitely bring up the flash flooding concern a lot more. Even if you go to the Euro AI model, this one gets close, but look how much rainfall it brings. Even if you go into the CMC is another one that you could check out. It brings us rainfall, but not as much, but it definitely occurs a lot quicker. And then the Icon, this one, the Icon has been just the one that just completely missed us completely. This was probably the best outcome of all the models, and it has been for like the past couple of days. It really just wants to stick to this. It's not going to do anything and just continue its way out to the east. But I will continue to see what happens with that as well. And even if you go into the actual hurricane models themselves, the HAFSA, that one doesn't quite make it. I mean, it brings definitely some heavy rainfall and probably some gusty winds with it. But will it be a tropical storm force? We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But it brings a lot of rainfall. I mean, this is the South Carolina coast right here, and it's bringing a lot of that rainfall with it. That's the A model. If you go into the actual B one, this is the next one right here. It gets a bit close, but again, same thing. It just turns out to sea kind of quickly, and so most models are saying that it's going to move to the east. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning when we check in on this again. But that's all that I really have to say in terms of the tropics. It's taking a good turn right now. It's taking a good turn towards the east. But for anybody that asks me, because I've been asked at least close to like 25 to 50 times at this point, oh, what is this storm going to do? I'm going to give you all the same answer. Pretty much, we have no idea. This is such a concerning, well, I wouldn't say concerning, confusing is the better word. This is such a confusing system to forecast, and just that, and the reason why, obviously, is because of Humberto. That really just makes it harder for a meteorologist to forecast. So I said it the other night, but definitely give your meteorologist some grace on this because it's just way too hard to exactly know what's going to happen. I mean, this thing could take a turn last second. And, obviously, it would be kind of short notice. So definitely give your meteorologist some grace with that. Just because it is just super, super hard to forecast, and we just don't know exactly what it's going to do, even though it's this close. I mean, it's only almost 48 to 72 hours out at this point, and we still are this confused on this system right now. But that is all that I have for the tropics for tonight. I'll be back with that tomorrow morning. But let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's go on and talk with the audience for tonight. Mr. Chris says, had a thunderstorm here in Moncks Corner earlier today. Hope everyone had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Gibrat says, hey y'all, hello to you. And then Mr. Chris says, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Also share with everyone that you know. He's absolutely correct. We've had 36 people tune in so far, and we only have 10 likes. I don't know what's going on there, why we have 38 people tune in, and we only have 10 likes. If you are part of that 28 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Let's see, what else do we have? Mr. Chris says, been noticing that the track has changed again. It is. It's shifted more to the east. Then my Aunt Lula comes in and says, today in Georgetown we had lots of rain. My garden appreciates the rain, and so do I. She also said, good evening, everyone. I think that's all it says. I can't see it because of the polls right there, but it says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. And glad that you got some rainfall. We had some rain at my house today as well. My Nana says, hello, Jay. Hello to you. Gibrat says it rained off and on in Lugoff today. Well, some rainfall is definitely wanted. So I definitely will not push away the rainfall. Trail says, greetings, everyone. I'm late. How was your day, Joseph and everyone? My day was great. Thank you for asking. And it's fine that you're late. You made it. That's all that matters. She also says, rainy day here. I got caught in the rain yesterday and today. She also says, great advice, Joseph. Thank you so much for that. But rainy day here at my house as well. I did get caught in the rain not only yesterday, but also today as well. So same thing that happened to you, same thing that happened to me. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, I would love to see some cooler weather. I would love to see some cooler weather. Me personally, I'm more of the warmer type of guy, but some cooler weather, I wouldn't push it away. I would not push it away. He also said that I still say that we need to pay close attention to this. Still unsure what it might do. Well, I completely agree with everything that you said. I still say that we need to pay close attention as well. Still unsure. And then Thad says, good evening, fellow weather watchers. I trust all is well. It was a nice day here in San Antonio. We missed you yesterday, Joseph. I know I was unfortunately had to go on. Well, it wasn't unfortunately, but I unfortunately could not make it here last night, but still had some fun activities going on last night. Definitely was a great night. Had some friends over, had some movie going on, some great food. Shout out to my mom for that food. But for the most part, great food, great games that we had out there. So he also says, I hope your birthday went well. Thank you so much for that. It did. And then my Nana, I don't know if I forgot to say your message or not. I see it up here. I did see it. She said, hello, Jay. Hello to you. And that is all that I have for tonight for the audience. If you want to go on and say something, you still can. I will come back and I will go on and read it. But first, before we go back, let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, what in the world am I talking about right now? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about those locations is because we have people from those locations who tune in almost nightly. And so we just decided, let's go on Because of their support, let's go on and give them a forecast. And so starting off first with San Antonio, like we always do, you have low temperatures tonight at 68, high temperatures tomorrow at 92, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. Then if you go on into your precipitation, no precipitation is expected. No precipitation is expected. Not great for the drought, but it's going to be at least a nice day tomorrow. Now, what about excessive rainfall? Excessive rainfall for you? No excessive rainfall is expected either. So Raleigh, North Carolina is the next one, as that ends San Antonio's forecast. You do have low temperatures tonight at around 66, high temperatures tomorrow at 81, and the low temperatures tomorrow night at 67. There is no precipitation that is expected tonight or tomorrow, but scattered showers are possible tomorrow night. Now, what about excessive rainfall first this time? You do actually have some excessive rainfall that is expected. Isolated flash flooding is possible on Monday, and scattered flash flooding is possible on Tuesday. And yes, that does have to do with Imelda, though. And then day 5, nothing for Wednesday. For severe weather, there is indeed no severe weather that is expected here. Philadelphia being the third location with low temperatures tonight, seems to be at around 64, high temperatures tomorrow at 81, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 63. Showers are likely tonight, and there are showers that are ongoing right now throughout the city of Philadelphia right now. No precipitation is expected at all for tomorrow. No severe weather is expected at this time. And then for excessive rainfall, there is indeed no excessive rainfall here either. Now, the final location is Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 61, high temperatures tomorrow at 87, and low temperatures tomorrow at 60. No precipitation is expected at this time. No flash flooding is expected, and no severe weather is expected at all either. Now, what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? In terms of weather news-wise, Tropical Depression 9 has formed and will continue to slowly move to the north or northwest in the coming days. As the storm passes close to the east coast of Florida, tropical storm conditions are possible on Sunday through Monday. Tropical storm watches has been issued. Significant uncertainty still remains in the track and the intensity, but chances of impacts to the southeast are still increasing. So, I will say, that's exactly what I was talking about. The forecast, we're 48 to 72 hours out from this thing. If it was to somehow make a landfall or get close to a landfall, it would be around that time frame, and we just are still that far out to knowing what's going on with this thing. We still are that confused about it. And overall, I don't really see anything else that's too prominent. Some flash floodings ongoing in Southern California, Arizona, and even Southern Nevada. And then maybe even, I don't know what this is over here. Let me check and see what this is. Actually just seems to be some foggy conditions that will be expected going into western North Carolina and southeastern West Virginia and even western Virginia. But that is all that I have for the forecast for tonight. Let me go in and check out the chat one more time. Cheryl says, "So glad you had a wonderful celebration. Thank you so much for that." And then my aunt Shirley comes in and says, "Happy belated birthday. Thank you so much." Let me go in and give myself a round of applause real quick. And so that's all. Again, thank you to everyone that has wished that for me. Really do appreciate it. And that is all for that. The top fans for tonight. Trail is actually at number 1. Gibrat's at number 2. And then Mr. Chris is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. We got a little bit of a change up in the board for top fans for tonight. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to be, obviously, subscribed to the channel. Because if you are not subscribed to the channel, obviously you can't comment. And then also, you have to be active inside the chat. You have to, not just 1 or 2 messages. You have to put a couple of messages out there inside of the chat if you want to be a part of the top fan group. But hopefully that, about answers everyone's questions about this tropical system for now. Again, it's just too far out, too uncertain to know exactly what in the world is going to occur with this. So that's all that I have. I will be back. I will be back tomorrow morning. I will be back tomorrow morning for your Sunday morning forecast update. Make sure that you're here also for tomorrow evening as well, because tomorrow evening we start to talk about next week's forecast. The last couple of days of September going into the first couple of days of October. Cannot believe September's already over. That was a very quick month. And so now we're in the last couple of days of September, and we'll be making it into October. And hydrated, he's absolutely correct there as well.